interesting, but most of them just don't build products. They are companies with thin, beautiful companies. They do things we can't do, but they don't really have many engineers. The engineers have been there for 50 years. They have huge sales forces. They cannot build something that's relevant. And if they could, it's going to take years. And there's nothing to acquire. We're not for sale.
And on the ground, working with customers, I would just add that the ambition has gone way up. People expect the software to work. What do I expect of the software I'm getting from my IT organization has gone up. Then the ambition of their own use cases. What do I want to accomplish with the software has gone way up. So that's created a lot of white space to go after. And then when you can deliver 15 co-pilots in 9 weeks, you just get so much more pull on that. The other part that's been rewarding is we no longer spend time talking about why do you need an ontology. We don't even have to use that word anymore because it's intuitive. It's obvious the infrastructure we've built and how that enables you to actually accomplish these ambitious use cases. So it's just been a huge tailwind for us.
Thanks, Alex and Shyam. Our next question is from Mariana with Bank of America. Mariana, please turn on your camera and then you'll receive a prompt to unmute your line.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Very nice to see you.
So my question is going to be about AIP. You mentioned more than 100 organizations using it right now. How are you thinking about ratio and timing of conversion? And second, on the other conversations we're having with 300 plus organizations, how many of those are willing to use it on a Foundry platform versus their own?
You want to take this?
Sure. So
By the way, it's a pleasure to see you.
Finally.
We're in the phase right now where we're very focused on driving compounding usage of this. It's we've done this with Gotham, we've done this with Gaia, with Foundry, with Apollo, and what we're excited to see is that we have over 5,000 monthly users. The users are growing 50% month over month. Obviously, we've been doing this for 10 weeks now. That's quite a bit in the enterprise for the pace that we're going at here. I think let's look and see what happens in the next few months here, but we don't think it's going to be too long to kind of turn that corner. Can you remind me the second part of your question?
People don't have Foundry. How does that work?
I think the real focus on the AIP product strategy is to make sure that you can use AIP without Gotham, Foundry, or Apollo, and that to the extent you see the value in these things, you're going to pull them along with you. Now, I think that's where ontology has been most useful in both contexts. We've deployed operational workflows on classified networks using this technology in real-world exercises. That's only accomplishable because they're standing on a decade of this well-ontologized data and the kind of enterprise tools that they have for warfighting to accomplish those use cases. So when you look at the time to value, it helps them solve for their use case. The other part that I would point out is people then see the value of bringing their own tools to bear. When I think about the work we're doing with pharma companies and many of the AI models that they've already built, this actually helps them close that last mile where they feel like, look, we have these exquisite models, we have these libraries. How do we actually connect it to the business case of driving drug development more quickly? And then you see these sort of hybrid architectures emerging where you have AIP, you have Foundry, you have their homegrown systems working quite harmoniously against the ambitious problem. And so I think that's been pretty productive. And I think the good part about this, because it's so generative right now, is that there is no reference architecture. You're not getting caught up in kind of academic questions of how should we design this thing. People are forging that and figuring that out relative to what works and delivers value.
Let me just riff on that a little bit. We built this original product. Our first product got us off the ground, made us famous in a very small market called clandestine services. And that product PG, did something really interesting. It de facto taught the world what the use case is that you would need to solve, and then provided the product that solved it. And that's exactly what we're doing with AIP. It's like you do have an advantage if you already have Foundry because we've already kind of pre-taught you where the road is going to go. But right now, to Shyam's point and point I made earlier, there is no roadmap. The product is actually teaching people what the roadmap would look like. That doesn't mean everyone will buy AIP, by the way. A lot of people say, okay, well, I need these 15 things. I need what Shyam is calling an ontologist, the ability to interact with the LLM. I need an ability to take that out and turn it into logic. I need an ability to run that on my enterprise safely. I need all these things. And I want to spend, some people are going to say, hey, I want to spend $500 million building that because I want to own it. A lot of those people will fail. Some will succeed. Lots of the other people will buy it from Palantir. But we are de facto teaching people the quote-unquote roadmap of the way the world will look and the problems you'll have to solve. And it teaches them because you can show it live in action. And that's what's going on in the market. And that gets to when will we actually monetize this? We will monetize. Palantir is guilty of many things. People they thought we were insane. Some people think I'm eclectic. Some analysts think that I am talking something they've never heard of, right? Often right. We have no problem monetizing. We make $2.9 million per commercial customer across the world. We will figure out how to monetize it. First, we're teaching the market what it is. We're getting people on board. We're showing people that these are the kind of problems you'll have to solve if you want to engage in actually making money as opposed to writing neat poetry that may be scary to your enterprise and your board won't let you install anyway. And then we will allow people, then we will charge for that.
Thank you both. Alex, as always, we have a lot of investors on the line. Are there any other thoughts you'd like to share before we end the call?
Well, as usual, I'd like to thank many of our supporters, our clients who've seen this transformation and supported it, who are adopting AIP. The Palantirian team, which goes through the vicissitudes of our shifts and now is fully aligned on building AIP. Our retail investors, who I think have been way ahead of everyone else in understanding the product, actually testing it, looking at it, calling customers, and in general, the spirit of American innovation from which we are profiting. And thank you for your time.
Thanks, Alex. That concludes Q&A for today's call.
Attack.